Welcome to Mindfulness Lists. The next section of Eckhart Tolle's A New Earth is called The Ego is Not Personal. It's amazing how people can teach us so much. When I think about explaining this book, reviewing this book, I just think about my personal experiences and common experiences that we all have. We all have friends. We all have family. Some of us have children and most of us have jobs. So that's things that we can all relate to, and I like to talk about those things. Somebody who's taught me about the ego and several other things is my daughter. Just watching her, it's amazing. When you learn about the ego and you learn about psychology, I think it's easy to see it in little kids because they're so transparent. Pardon me. They're transparent and even more transparent than kids. It's kind of a tangent. But our dogs, you look at dogs, and dogs, you could just see their little personalities. They have their own personalities. You know, if you're a pet lover, you could see that they're definitely different. Not that they have egos or anything like that. I'm just saying people and animals are different. I hear my dog choking right now out there on a hairball or something. So watching my daughter, I'm able to see these things. And obviously, if you're able to see how psychology works or how the ego works, you can see it and you can identify it, usually, almost always, because it's in you as well. So the ego is not personal. When I would watch my daughter, sometimes she would do things, and it's not easy to be a parent. Sometimes you have to be patient and you have to be willing to let things go. Obviously, you know, you try to do your best to teach your child how to be a polite, decent person, you know, happy person to be around. So you look at these character traits and you just realize that we all have them, and you don't take it personal. You just take it with a grain of salt. What I would find is sometimes my daughter she would just be kind of moody, you know, she would want her way about something and then she would be a brat about it afterwards. And the thing about children is I know that their consciousness is not developed enough. And she would do this a couple of years ago. She's almost 9. So she would do this maybe 2 years ago. And it seems as children, you know, she's definitely aware, and they become more aware as they get older. And, I think structure is good for children. So if you apply the same rules on them all the time, they get used to it. They know what's up. They know what they can get away with and what they can't. And so as time has gone on, she behaves better. And, the thing that I would see in her is that she would get angry about something. She'd say, "Can I have a cookie?" And I'd say no. And then she would stay pissed off, but her consciousness wasn't strong enough to remember what she was angry about. So she would stay angry for about 15 minutes, maybe tops, you know, and then she'd go back. She'd be like, "Oh, look, Elmo's on TV," or whatever she was into, you know, and she'd be just like nothing ever happened. And meanwhile, I would be pissed off, and it was completely over to her. Her day was going fine. And it taught me to be more resilient and just to let things go. And in order to do that, you have to be grounded. You have to just realize that this stuff is going to pass. Another person, who would pull my chain and still does occasionally is my boss at work, the owner of the restaurant. And just with certain people, you know, like I'm definitely, this stuff we're talking about, it runs through all people. And obviously, as I mentioned, it has to be in you. If you think that somebody is a jerk, you can only spot that because you have some jerk qualities yourself. So this guy is a jerk, the owner of the restaurant. And I could spot it because I'm a jerk as well. And when you see somebody that's angry or somebody that's upset, you spot that, you're able to see it. It doesn't help to get angry with them. It hurts you. And it doesn't help to change them. You could try to say hi. You could try to be nice. In my case, there's a language barrier. I work a language barrier, even though I can't speak myself. I work at a Thai restaurant. And so there's a lot gets lost in translation. And maybe it's a cultural thing as well. Like what I've noticed is that, in our culture, we say hello, we say goodbye, and we try to be polite. And I think that stuff is nice. I think it's great to be polite. I definitely try to teach that, to my daughter. Although, to be honest, I don't really wear the pants in the relationship. I haven't been with my daughter a whole lot. I've spent a couple years with her, but her mother has raised her and she's done a great job, and she wears the pants in that, relationship. She, is the one who's taught our child practically everything. But when you see a person that's upset, I apologize. I forgot what I was talking about. Differences in cultures. So sometimes at the restaurant, there's a bunch of Thai people there, and I will be polite, to them. Obviously, I do like them, they're, I don't know. I've never been to Thailand, but it's pretty cool working there. In Thailand, what I do know about Thailand is that it's a Buddhist country. And what that has made me realize is that people are the same everywhere, regardless of whether they're Christian or Catholic or Buddhist. It's the same, the same structure is inside of them. They have their egos and they've got their problems, and the psychology is exactly the same. It's not because that they're Buddhist that they don't suffer. Maybe, I don't know. It's exactly the same, But they are, the people that I work with are very pleasant. There's something about working there. It's a good place to work at. The owner of the place, he's not a happy camper. And it's strange how when people come into your life, they can be your teachers. I could look at this guy as some grumpy person. What I've heard about him is that his family is rich, and that's how he got, the restaurant. And maybe it's the syndrome, there's the Persian saying, when all your wishes are granted, your dreams will be destroyed. Maybe he was given everything, and so he's not really happy with it because he's got an awesome business. He's got a really nice wife. He's got wonderful children, and he doesn't seem to be happy. Or maybe it's a cultural difference. Maybe I just don't understand, and these people, Thai people, nah, it couldn't be that. I guess there's different types everywhere. There's no need for me to figure out, But, let's get out of my mind for a second and into back into the book. The ego is not personal. So a little snippet of, this section. Eckhart Tolle says, people become trapped in an insane insane spiral of perpetration and retribution, action and reaction. Sometimes I have problems reading in the morning. My nose is a little bit clogged right now. I'll read that again. I apologize. They become trapped in an insane spiral of perpetration and retribution, action and reaction. And that's what happens sometimes. You take this stuff personal, and then you react to something, and then someone else reacts to it, and it just becomes this downward spiral, rather than just realizing it doesn't have anything to do with us. It's a human condition. It's not personal. And there's nothing that we could do about it besides doing our homework. Do your homework. Do whatever it takes. I suggest meditation. What meditation does for me is I do it every single morning, and it provides me with a little bit of some reserves. So when things do go down, I can look at them from a wider perspective. If I have problems at work or if I have problems with my child, I could look at it from a wider perspective, just think, wow, this stuff's going to pass, or look at it and say, wow, this happened last week. It's probably going to keep happening. Something that, pulls my chain is a place where I fall asleep in my life is on the road. Sometimes I'll get pissed off when people start tailgating me. And just to realize, you know what, this traffic, it's been going on since I was a little kid. I can remember driving down to LA with my parents, and there was traffic then, and there's going to be traffic until I'm an old man. So either I could change, or I could get pissed off about it for the rest of my life and just waste my health by getting angry. Here's what else the book says about it. Greed, selfishness, exploitation, cruelty, and violence are still all pervasive on this planet. When you don't recognize them as individual and collective manifestations of an underlying dysfunction or mental illness, you fall into the error of personalizing them. So I love this book so much. It helps me, and whatever book it is for you or whatever thing it is, just to have pointers to keep you on point. It says right there, you fall into the error of personalizing them. It's not my boss. It's me mistaking it for my boss. It has nothing. It's something that runs through all people, and we just have to do our homework. You can't, if you want to run around and try to organize the world. Okay, you stand here, you stand that way, you act this way, you say this, you say that. You're gonna tire yourself out. You're gonna kill yourself from trying to control everything. And that's what's a huge part of the suffering, is not accepting the world for what it is, saying, through what we perceive as good or bad, we can't accept these things. So we go around and say, this needs to change. Oh my God, that needs to change. We can't have this guy in office. That needs to change. This needs to change. We need to accept, if you want peace, you need to accept. And that doesn't mean that you don't work for change. You don't, think about new solutions. That doesn't mean that you don't do that. You still work for change, but you accept what is. And it helps to mitigate the suffering. And when you stop suffering, you stop affecting the ones around you. Because when you're an unhappy camper, you spread that pain to the people around you. So you need to do your homework. I need to do my homework and stop whining about my boss. And, be a big cowboy and cowboy up and put on my big cowboy boots. Some more from the book. The particular egoic patterns that you react to most strongly in others and misperceive as their identity tend to be the same patterns that are also in you, but that you are unable or unwilling to detect within yourself. Takes one to know one, baby. Think about the world that you want. What kind of world would you like if you woke up today and you woke up, or tomorrow when you wake up? Think about the world that you want. Okay, I'm thinking about it right now. And so it's morning time right now. I got to get going. I got to go take my dog on a walk. I got to come back. I got to make breakfast. Then I got to go to work. So what I would like is a nice dog walk, which I always do have. It's the height of my day. Come back, make breakfast. Thank you. I'm thankful that there's food in the refrigerator and a nice breakfast. I don't want to be rushed. So hopefully that stuff goes smooth. Hopefully my dog Sometimes he'll walk slow and smell everything, and other times he walks briskly. Yesterday he was walking briskly. So I'd like a good walk. And then on the way to work, I hope that things are just mellow on the road, and I hope that work is busy. So some of these things I guess we can't control. Most of these things, none of those things I can control. So the only thing that I can control is the way that I act. So I guess I could be patient on the walk. I can try to make my breakfast as skillfully as possible. I can drive on the road and be patient and not get angry at people tailgating or some stuff like that. And then I could go to work, and if it's busy, I'll do my best. And if it's not, I can just do other things. I'll find other things to do. But creating the world that we want, we have to be the ones to create it and not wait for other people to create it for us. We just do our homework. Think about the world that you want, like Gandhi says, be the change that you seek. I'll see you next time. Time is an angel or devil, best friend or worst enemy.